My name is Sarah, and I'm 28 years old. It was a warm summer evening in Chicago. I had just finished a long day at work and decided to unwind at my favorite rooftop bar. It was there that I first saw him. His name was Jake, a 30-year-old architect with tousled dark hair and deep blue eyes that seemed to draw me in from across the room. He was standing at the bar, his laughter mingling with the sounds of clinking glasses. I felt an undeniable pull toward him, an energy that crackled in the air like electricity. As the evening wore on, I found myself gravitating toward him, exchanging smiles and playful banter. There was something magnetic about his presence, an allure that made me forget the world around us. In that moment, amidst the vibrant city lights, I felt a thrill of excitement, a sense that this evening could lead to something unexpected. But beneath the surface of our light-hearted conversation, there was a secret I held close to my heart. A part of me was hesitant to reveal it. Little did I know, this night would be just the beginning of a whirlwind that would challenge everything I thought I knew about love and desire. As the night deepened, the rooftop bar became more intimate, the dim lights casting a soft glow around us. Jake and I found ourselves in a secluded corner, our laughter fading into whispers. The chemistry between us was undeniable, a tension that hung in the air like a delicious secret waiting to be unveiled. "Do you want to get out of here?" Jake asked, his voice low and inviting. My heart raced at the suggestion. I nodded, feeling a rush of thrill and anticipation. We made our way down the stairs and into the cool night air, the city alive around us. He led me to his apartment, just a few blocks away. As soon as the door closed behind us, the atmosphere shifted. The weight of our desires hung heavily in the air. We stood there for a moment, the silence thick with unspoken words. Then, without thinking, I closed the distance between us, my lips crashing against his. The kiss was more than just the meeting of lips, it was an eruption of desire that consumed everything around us. Jake's hand slid from my waist to the curve of my back, pulling me closer as if the space between us was unbearable. His firm grip dictated the rhythm, and I surrendered completely, feeling the heat radiating from his body as his touch ignited a fire deep within me. His lips moved with a hunger that bordered on wild, exploring mine with an intensity that made my heart race. Every brush of his tongue sent waves of heat coursing through me, and I melted against him, powerless to resist the overwhelming passion enveloping us. Our breaths mingled, short and ragged, as our hands roamed freely, discovering secrets hidden in the contours of each other's skin. Jake pressed my body against the wall, his strength and determination leaving me breathless. His lips left mine for a moment, only to trail a line of fiery kisses along my neck, making me arch my back and release a soft moan. Each movement was a promise, a prelude to something more, something that ignited our senses and made it impossible to think of anything but this moment. My hands slid down his sculpted chest, feeling the muscles tense beneath my touch as he continued his exploration of every inch of my body. The heat between us was tangible, a tension that threatened to consume us whole. I didn't know where he ended, and I began. We were one, driven by a force greater than either of us. When his eyes met mine, there was something raw, almost primal, in the way he looked at me. It was as if he was silently telling me how much he wanted me, how much he needed me. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. In the midst of our heated embrace, I felt a flicker of doubt about my secret. Would this night change everything? But as Jake's kisses grew more fervent, all I could think about was the heat between us. We stumbled toward the bedroom, the world outside fading away as we surrendered to the moment. In that dim light, we explored each other, our bodies moving in sync, an unspoken understanding guiding us. It felt like we were the only two people in the universe, lost in the rhythm of our desires. But deep down, the weight of my hidden truth lingered, a reminder that this night was just the beginning of something far more complicated than I had ever anticipated. As dawn approached, soft light began to filter through the curtains, casting a gentle glow in the room. Jake and I lay entwined, our bodies still warm from the night's passion. The distant hum of the city waking up reached my ears, but here, in this fragile sanctuary, it felt like we existed in a world of our own. Jake stirred beside me, his eyes fluttering open. He smiled, a lazy grin that sent warmth through my chest. "Last night was incredible," he murmured, his fingers brushing a strand of hair from my face. I smiled back, but the weight of my secret tightened in my chest, threatening to suffocate me. I knew I couldn't hold it in any longer. "Jake, we need to talk," I said softly, my voice trembling. His smile faded slightly, replaced by a look of concern as he propped himself up on his elbow. "What is it?" he asked, his tone gentle but searching. I swallowed hard, my hands gripping the sheet tightly. "There's something I haven't told you," I began, feeling the rush of anxiety flood my veins. I didn't mean for things to go this far before saying it, but I'm married. The words hung in the air, heavy and unforgiving. Jake's expression froze, his eyes widening as he processed what I had just confessed. He sat up abruptly, running a hand through his hair. "You're married?" he echoed, disbelief and hurt lacing his voice. "It's complicated," I said quickly, desperate to explain. "We've been separated for months. It's over in every way that matters, but we haven't finalized the divorce yet. I thought I was ready to move on, but now I'm not sure." Tears welled up in my eyes as I spoke, the guilt and shame crashing over me. "I should have told you sooner, but I was scared of losing you." Jake stared at me, his jaw tightening. "You should have told me," he said, his voice low but steady. "I deserved to know before any of this happened." He looked away, his expression torn between anger and sorrow. "I need some time to think." As he stood and began to gather his clothes, I felt the sting of regret burn through me. The connection we shared had felt so real, but now it was tangled in the truth I had kept hidden. The sun broke through the horizon, casting its golden light over the room, but it felt cold and distant. I watched as Jake walked to the door, pausing briefly before leaving without another word. In that moment, I realized the cost of my silence. The path ahead was uncertain, and whether we could ever recover from this, only time would tell. But one thing was clear, I had to face the consequences of my choices, and the dawn that had seemed so full of promise now felt like the beginning of a long, lonely road.